Welcome to the Floyd County Police Department. My name is Chris Fincher. I am the Public Information Officer for the department. And I'm joined today by Captain Ron Hunton. He is our traffic unit commander, right?
That's correct.
And what is it that you do there at the police department?
Assigned to the traffic unit, and in that, supervisor for that unit. We enforce traffic within the 514 square miles of Floyd County. We are responsible for traffic enforcement as far as writing citations, issuing warnings, things of that nature. Also, educational events, educating the public on the causes of crashes, things to be aware of, safety as far as safety measures and things like that. And then also we investigate any serious injury or fatal crashes.
And that's what brings us here today. This is a unique approach that I don't think the police department has ever done before. But the reason why we're doing this in this medium is because the number of fatalities in Floyd County is we're drawing close to being in the top 10 in the state for this year, unfortunately. We've identified some reasons why that is. Ron, if you wanted to talk to us and share with us, what are the top 3 reasons why crashes have happened this year?
Sure. One of those is aggressive driving. And, of course, aggressive driving covers several different areas. Things like following too close to vehicles in front of you, stopping too close to vehicles that are stopped in front of you as a traffic light or stop sign. Another one of those is speeding, just going too fast. And then another one is improper lane changes. A lot of those things are all tied together with speed. If you're going too fast, a lot of times you come up on somebody that's going slower, that's traveling in front of you. You end up following too close to them, and then when you get an opportunity to pass, you make a sudden lane change to go around that slower driver, and things like that tend to lead to those crashes. Another area is distracted driving. We live in the age of technology, and everything we do is driven through our phones. And that crosses over into when we're driving. And so just things like texting and driving, talking on the phone and driving, especially if you're in a heated conversation, you're arguing with someone, having a disagreement with someone, or it's just a very involved conversation. A lot of times you forget where you are and you forget what you're doing. And there are other distractions as well, things such as pets, children, just things going on in the car around us, eating while we're driving, things like that can distract us as well. And then the last one is impaired driving. And of course, everybody is familiar with DUI as far as alcohol goes, having too much to drink and then operating a car. But it's also the use of illegal narcotics and prescription medication as well can impair drivers as they're operating their vehicles.
The other part about distracted driving that a lot of people don't think about is you're not only responsible for yourself in the car, but you're responsible for others. And if you're distracted, you can't do that because you may be driving very well. You may be the best driver, gold star standard on the road, but you have to also think about the other people. And if you're distracted, if you're driving too fast, or if you're impaired, you can't do that.
Right. It kind of impairs your ability to drive defensively.
Yeah.
And you have to look out for those other drivers. I had a conversation just the other day with a couple of young drivers, and they were talking about how they were almost involved in an accident. And they were talking about if they had not been paying attention at this red light,
right.
They would have been in a crash. And so we kind of had that conversation about driving defensively. Something that, I've got a young driver myself, and it's a conversation we've had numerous times is driving defensively and being aware of those other people that are on the road.
It's really fun to think about driving fast. It's fun to watch the movies that have got all the neat scenes and the drag racing and that sort of thing. But probably more than half the battle is knowing what everybody else is doing, how to respond their correct way, right?
Just being aware of those other drivers.
Yeah. So we've talked about the top 3 reasons. Some of the top 5 roads that we've identified in the county. Number 1 on that list is Alabama Highway. That is Georgia 20. So that's everything from Shorter Avenue out to the state line, right?
Right. Yeah. From Floyd Medical Center all the way to the Alabama state line. That's Alabama Highway, okay. Georgia 20.
Followed by Turner McCall, Georgia 1 Loop, which is also Veterans Highway, and also Martha Berry Highway, which is going to be everything from 27 through Armurchie, down 27 down past Georgia Highlands College, right?
Yes.
Followed up on that list is New Calhoun Highway, which is 53. What are the reasons? And this isn't, I don't think, something that we prepared for today, but what are some of the reasons why wrecks happens on those roads? Is it a combination of all those three that we've talked about?
It's a combination of those three things and just volume. So if you think of, anybody that lives here in Floyd County is familiar with the traffic on Termacall. You just the sheer number of cars that go down that road every day. And I think too, what people don't realize is it's 24 hours a day that there's traffic. Working this job, working nights. I'm always amazed at how many people are still out on the road, after midnight driving. That number does drop, but there's still a lot of people, and so volume is part of it. And then you look at like Shorter Avenue and Alabama Highway. So if you're coming in from the western part of the county, you're in a 55 mile per hour speed zone. Then that speed starts to drop as you come into town, but it's still a 4-lane road. So people sometimes forget to slow down. They forget where they are, and you've got a lot of entry points on those highways as well. Just people coming into the roadway from other roads.
Right now we have 18 total fatalities. This is the summer of 2021. We've already surpassed the last figures that we have are from 2019 when the state did their ranking. At that time, we were 16th in the state, and that was with 15 incidents, 16 fatalities. So, unfortunately, we've already surpassed that. So, some of the things that we're wanting to do at the police department is information, education of the public through things like this. We have a public safety expo that's coming up, getting out in the community. What are some other things that we're looking at doing? Enforcement, obviously, being visible.
Right. So enforcement is there, being out, being on the road, and taking action. And taking action doesn't always mean writing someone a ticket. It could just be issuing a warning. It could be the conversation I had with the two young drivers just the other day. That just happened. It's things like that. It's also putting the information out. Things like this, what we're doing here, is putting that information out to the public, letting them know, okay, these are our problem roadways. These are the things that lead to most of the crashes in Floyd County, and just putting that information out, putting it on our website, putting it on social media, and just kind of making people more aware. It's last year was and even part of this year was an interesting year with the coronavirus and everything going on. People being locked down, people being at home, people not driving, and then now you've got a lot more people driving, and it's coming into the summer months. People are going on vacation, things of that nature. So we want people to be aware of those things. And then two, we're trying to look at the data and use that information to guide us in where we work, what hours we work, the kind of things that the violations that we kind of concentrate on more, that we look for. Because looking at the data, we know what's causing the crashes. We know what's leading to the crashes. So we try to educate the officers as well. Hey, these are the things that are leading to these crashes. These are the things you need to be aware of, and kind of focus on those areas.
To help our public understand, what are the prime times when these wrecks are happening?
It's not a surprise. It's when people are going to work and going to school, and when people are coming home from work and coming home from school.
That's a volume issue, plus it's just a combination of different abilities of drivers, right?
Right. So you've got drivers of all ages on the roadways, and like you said, it's a volume of traffic at those times. Just the more people that you have driving, the more likely there's going to be a crash.
Yeah. You make a good point about COVID and lockdown, but I would take that a step further. We've become so involved with our telephones and work from home and Zooming that sometimes we have to remind ourselves that it's not all about us. We have to look out for everybody else. So to me, that's a big lesson that folks should learn and understand, is to know that you're not only looking out for yourself, but you've also got other people that you have to work with and also drive around.
Sure. And we spend so much time in our cars going to and from work, to and from school, just commuting, traveling. Sometimes we forget that there's a world outside of that car around us.
Yeah.
And people get really insulated in that car. And then you'll see people that are in a car at a stoplight, and you're like, you do know we can see you, right? And I think, but we get in that mindset of where I'm in this car,
Bubble of safety.
right, and I'm in here by myself, and there's nobody else with me, and there's nobody else I need to be concerned about. There's nobody else I need to think about, and that's just not the case, because
Right.
all those other drivers,
Sure.
you've got to think about them as well.
And in some future episodes, we'll talk about the physics of what a crash is. You've got the mass of it, you got the speed of it. All that creates an amount of force that you really have to be careful with. This is a piece of heavy machinery that you're operating.
It is, and I mean, cars are, built with a lot of safety features now that they used to not be. My first car didn't even have seatbelts, so I had to put seatbelts in my first car. It was a truck, but I had to put seatbelts in it myself. So safety's come a long way, and I think sometimes we take for granted. We expect those things to protect us. The things that make sure we stay in our lane that are built into the car. Things that tell us we're traveling out of our lane, or that something's in front of us and the car's going to stop itself. I think sometimes we say, oh, there's a safety net there for me. I don't need to worry as much. Those things don't always work.
Nope, you're right. So you still need to be a competent driver. You still need to be watching out for yourself, because the car can't do it all for you.
That's right.
All right. I think we've made some headway. This isn't the first time you're going to be seeing us, so we look forward to coming to you again with more information about Floyd County Police Department, but more importantly, addressing crashes and hopefully working to lower some of these numbers. Ron, thank you very much for agreeing to be with me today on video. Look forward to seeing you again at a later time. Be safe, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.